God doesn't always send you what you want, but he always gives you what you need. I wanted my dad to be there to support me, to show up to games, to be there to do life with me, to give me advice especially when I was a teenager, and he just didn't have the capacity to do that. But I was so grateful. I had a mother who has loved me unconditionally, who has been my biggest fan, biggest cheerleader, biggest supporter, has always encouraged me, good or bad, has publicly celebrated me and privately has encouraged me and told me the truth. I'm so grateful for her. I wouldn't be the man that I am today without her. But I am also grateful, as we've been talking about surrogates this week, I'm also grateful for my mother marrying what I call my second dad, Irie Smith. I'm grateful for him because when they got married, listen, right before my dad called me and was like, man, I heard your mom's getting remarried. Man, that dude let you know he ain't your daddy. He better not touch you. He can't do this to you. And I, as a teenager, 15 years old, I took that personal. And so when my mom got remarried to Irie, I was a terror. I was a mess. He couldn't tell me anything. I was always rebelling. I was always talking back. You know, he asked me to do something, like, I ain't doing that. Be like, no, I need you to do it. I'd be like, I don't feel like it. I just had an attitude with him. And even then my brother started having an attitude with him, and no matter what I said, no matter what I did, he never went off on me. He never tried to step to me and try to be confrontational. He kept the same spirit. I don't know how he did that. I'm being honest with you. He's superhuman in that. That's what a superhero does. But he was able literally to stay calm. He was always consistent. And guess what? While I was wanting my dad to show up to the games, there's my second dad, Deacon Irie Smith, who was showing up to the games. It was him who was giving me advice about life. It was him who was encouraging me. It was him that was the major male figure in my life. Yeah, I wanted my dad to be there. My dad had the title, right, as my biological father, but it was my second dad, Irie, who was actually, had all the responsibility of a father. It was my biological dad. He had the position of dad because it was biologically, right? But it was my second dad, the Deacon Irie Smith, who was actually doing the work of a father. I am grateful to God for him. I just want to stop and just say thank you to Deacon Irie Smith, who poured into me, who was consistent in my life, who taught me about what it means to be a great husband and a great father. I never heard him disrespect my mom. My biological dad created a lot of mess and turmoil and trauma in our home, and it was always fussing and fighting and physical abuse, but I never saw that with Irie. I never saw that. He always respected my mom. He always loved her and loved us. I say, listen, he was superhuman. He's my superhero. Why? Because he took care of my mom, her 4 kids, and her grandchild. And he had no children. And so I'm so grateful. I wouldn't be where I am today if it hadn't been for you, Irie Smith, for taking me in, for pouring into me, to seeing something in me. So I am grateful, even though my father during that season of my life wasn't there, that God sent me this surrogate. God sent me a substitute. God sent me someone in Irie Smith to pour into that young, rebellious, crazy teenager. And he did not judge me, but he kept seeing and kept pouring into me. And so if you got someone like that who's in your life, I just want you to write that in the comment, write their names. Maybe for a long time, y'all, I didn't see it. For a long time, I had missed it and took it for granted. It wasn't until years later that I was like, man, that dude was always there, sitting there, supporting financially, physically. And so I am so grateful. Maybe you have someone like that maybe you've missed or overlooked because you wanted a certain person to be there. But God sent you someone else who was standing in the gap, who was standing there helping you become who you are. And I think you should take the time today. I encourage you, take the time today to say thank you to those people who stood in the gap, who was the substitute. Even though you may not have got what you wanted, God gave you what you needed. Listen, I want you to go get my book. Some Things Are Worth Fighting For. All of this is in the book. It's about my forgiveness and reconciliation with my Father. It transformed me into a better man. And I just I want you to read that book so that you can have a guide for yourself to be able to experience the power, y'all, of love, of forgiveness, that power that restores and heals, the power that God allows us to become better people. So go get that book. Go to drrickymccrae.com. Listen, subscribe to our channel. I'm so grateful that you decided to stop by today. If you know that perhaps there's some relationships in your life you need to get right, that you need to make whole, listen, I believe that the reason that it is on your heart to do is because some things are worth fighting for. Go get the book today. God bless you.